I've been at council for over 20 years now. I started off in the records team, delivering the mail. I was often asked to make the coffees or take the notes. I had a very supportive and encouraging manager who supported my studies. I was able to grow and develop. So when the asset manager role was available, I asked my general manager if I could have a go. So we had a trial, and then 7 years later, here I am. Support and for women in their career development is so important. No one's asked me for a coffee in a long time.
I work with incredible people and we make a difference for the communities and people we serve.
The thing that connects us all is that purpose, and those values are at the heart, which is really that public service, community-driven organisation and people. There's three big things that we've done that have removed the gender bias from a systemic perspective. So in the last 8 years, our gender pay gap when we started was 14% using the Ministry for Women methodology, and it's now come down to 6%.
I am so proud of that statistics and I'm so proud of this organisation. The driver was actually equity and that everybody was paid the same. So when we talked about this would reduce the gender pay gap, that wasn't really the driver here.
To start the conversation, it was difficult. It was about 8 years ago. And the first thing we did really was deeply understand what was important to our people at that point in time. Transparency and fairness was a really big driver for our people. The unions have been a really crucial part of this journey.
We can't pay what the private sector pays, and so it's how our remuneration is distributed is really important. So from a systemic point of view, we recognise that to recruit people and keep people, we had to look at our pay gaps.
So there have been three main pay systems approaches that we've taken to reduce our gender pay gap.
So one of the big steps we made was that we actually separated remuneration from performance. From 1 to 9 you were a number and that determined your remuneration. And it was actually really demoralising for staff that they were a 5 or a 4. Nobody ever got a 9, which was the top of the scale. And so working with our unions, we had that separation. We've introduced a performance development framework. So we're really focused on performance, but it's just not linked to remuneration.
Second of all, we've removed ranges. So once you've developed and you're fully competent within a role, everybody on that grade gets exactly the same pay, which gives transparency and clarity for our people. And then the third thing is we looked at sharing the bucket of money differently. So one of the really unique things that we did was had a conversation with our people about redistributing the bucket of money that we've got available for annual pay reviews a little bit differently. The outcome of that through 3 stages of consultation with our staff was that the higher grades and the lower grades would actually get an equal amount of money rather than a percentage amount. So what this does for us is closes that gap between the higher and the lower grades and just really rebalances that pay equity within the organisation. So by having a fairer system overall, it's had a really positive impact for our women.
The leaders here agreed to that, and they did that in the best interests of all the staff and the communities we serve.
I've supported the redistribution of pay because it's about fairness. So the benefits I've seen for my team and across the organisation is a more positive workplace.
So fairness for all mentality to me is extremely important. It's the cornerstone of a thriving society. The role of men in gender equality is to support our women right through the process of entering the workplace, through to leadership, and making sure that we're supportive. My message to other managers in a similar position to my own is not be burdened by the historical biases, go forth and forge what we know is right.
So what that means for us as an organisation is over the last 8 years, we've seen a real shift in where women sit in the organisation. What this has done, these approaches have done, is they've improved both representation and pay for our women within our organisation.
It's not about just managing a workplace, it's about having, future focus, vision and strong values.
Fiona, our CE, is an incredible champion of this work and role model of this work. and has driven a lot of this herself.
So my message to other chief executives is to talk to your staff, find out what's important to them. If they say, like the staff here, that fairness and equity is what drives them, then look at your system and make the changes. Take people with you, and more importantly, really focus on the leadership and what your leaders are doing in that system. That's worked for us, and I'm pretty confident it'll work for you as well.